Today on Drawbli,
we're looking at the art of Slawek Fedorczuk. Slawek Fedorczuk has a fascinating color palette.
I can tell that immediately, yeah. So obviously we're kind of two-toned here in the warms and cools, the desaturated reds and greens that work very well and are very hard to do if you are unfamiliar. Making red and green not feel like Christmas is a difficult task.
Yes. Slawek is a recommendation from YouTube commenter Jonathan. And if his art style appeals to you, on his ArtStation, he has a whole series on how to create like he does.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
wow.
Quite a bit of ideas.
Well, I will be looking into that for sure.
Yeah, he does a really good job taking the Easter colors, as I think of them, and making them just look beautiful. I mean, I think the tones here convey a lot of light and, well, obviously color, and is a very pleasing image to look at, despite being like very bright pink and bright blue and bright
purple,
green.
Yeah. So they stick to a lot of the same color palettes is what I'm expecting.
Yeah, color choices that maybe I wouldn't necessarily make. They just wouldn't be my natural go-to, but that they clearly like gravitate towards and do incredible work with. I like this image because we're looking down at this flooded city where these tall buildings are underwater.
And clearly it's been flooded for quite a while at this level because we have a dock that has since been built on this top portion. Yeah, this is very saturated, but I love how this little yellow boat sticks out here.
Yeah, something I think is interesting about, like you said, the saturation. Anytime we have somewhere where we would have like black, let's say, it's actually just a pretty bright purple or indigo color for that dark color.
Yeah, you can see that in the shadows of a lot of these different areas, like on the building.
Yeah.
For sure.
There's some gray, but it's a bright gray and a bright blue.
Yeah, it's almost like we're keeping everything at the same level of saturation for the whole image, and we're using other ways to bring focus.
This image stuns me because I actually recently attempted to paint white blossoming trees. And I mean, it went as well as anybody's first attempt painting a white blossoming tree might go, which was not as good as this.
No.
But this
understandable
is
though.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. But this is so beautiful. I love how desaturated the entire image feels. Our deepest shadows are still, again, very light colors technically. We don't have anything here that's very dark, but the image clearly shows us lights and darks.
Yeah, it is just truly so beautiful. I have nothing else to say about it other than that. Oh, wow. This is a lot more contrast though, not just in value range, but in color. I love that. I mean, it's so cool getting to see such a variety in the same art style, but they're doing, different ranges with it, which is so fun.
Yeah, their color choices are extremely unique to them, and I think that's something I really want to take away from this artist is just their choices in colors. I'm considering taking an oil painting class this summer just for fun, and I feel like there's a lot of inspiration to be taken from this artist. I feel like a lot of this too could be applied towards rendering clouds similarly.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
In fact, we can see some clouds up here, and we still have like deep yellows and pinks in them as well, which is super duper cool.
Wow, yeah. I am definitely going to be looking more into this artist and learning more about their process because, I mean, when I initially look at this, at first I feel for 1 second overwhelmed, and then the next second I'm like, oh, okay. Like it all starts to click into place.
Yeah. And I imagine how I would feel like taking this very busy landscape as a still image and thinking, how can I paint all of this and have it all look cohesive and interesting? It's a huge, daunting choice, and so I'm really impressed with what they've done with that.
Yeah, I love their shape design as well, where it all feels very cohesive with the shapes in the trees, the clouds, the bushes, the mountains. A lot of the shapes of the brushstrokes feel very, very similar. And then I love the stones here in the river. Like this is just such a nice place. I want to visit this place.
Yes, I want to visit this beautiful, colorful place. I had to include this image. I think this image is just fascinating to me because it's almost like we've narrowed and shrunk the color palette that this artist uses, but it still erupts with color.
Yeah.
The gold light on the buildings, the bluish tones. Honestly, with the way the colors are paired, I can barely read what color the buildings are that are like facing us in the shadow.
Yeah, it's extremely hard, and because, you know, as many know, color is just completely relative to what else is next to it. So it's so hard to, like, yes, this looks yellowy, you know, kind of warm and green, but a lot of it also feels more in the cool spectrum, just because of that contrast of other little pops of pinks and reds here and there.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this bridge, it's almost like a bright mint green.
Yeah, if we just like zoom in on nothing but that, like to say that that is kind of in the yellowing green spectrum towards gray. Yeah, and then the rest of that by contrast feels more in the warm spectrum.
But I just love how it glows. It all glows.
I mean, really, this is like a great image to study in terms of understanding color, I would say.
And so is this one. This one's fascinating to me. This one is just erupting with color.
And information. I love all the little banners and logos, the frogs. Like, this feels like a little street in Tokyo or some,
for
some back area. You have this little Shiba back here.
So well rendered.
Is that like an armadillo or something? I don't know. That's really cool.
I do love the way the buildings meet into the clouds, though. I think that's so gorgeous.
You mean like the way they fade and like blend in almost? Yeah, that is super cool.
This is really cool to me because we have a very like natural setting with these stones.
Ooh, yeah.
But again, the stones are just beautiful and erupting with color, which is just the words I would use for this artist, is erupting with color.
Yeah.
I love the teal of the water and just all the color we see from the stones themselves.
That has been a huge trend with artists we've been looking at lately, where we've seen, you know, what could have been just a plain white dress or a plain kind of gray or orange tan rock. But then we have so much extra being thrown in there that doesn't feel overwhelming and doesn't take away from the whole.
Yeah, it feels so cohesive. It feels so true. Here we have this building that has so many different colors within the brickwork. The trees in the forests have a lot of color within them. The snow on the ground. It's a constant theme of this artist's work. Definitely worth checking out. They have a Patreon where you can learn from them as well if you're interested in that style.
Great advice I heard once is your job as an artist is to describe it to your viewer. And, you know, there are many ways that you can go about that, but by throwing in all these amazing pops of color, it feels, you know, more true than if it had been just a photograph.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I just love that. This image too, this is their take on autumn, which is very interesting because normally when I would think autumn leaves, that would be the thing that is like the dominating color thing. But these beautiful little houses built into the hillside bring all this color and interest of their own. They have a lot more of like the defined shapes too, which really cause them to pop out with their hard lines and edges. So it ends up being an image that just has everything to offer.
Yeah, I love the little characters down there, adding some context as well. I feel like this is some kind of fantastical school and that this is housing for the students. That's the vibe.
Yeah.
True or not, I don't know. But I am very excited for a game coming out called Witchbrook, and this reminds me of that.
Oh, I'm excited for that too. You showed me the trailer.
Yeah, so this is super, super cool, again, with these colors. But again, like, you know, one thing we haven't really been hitting on too much is the story that's being told in all these images, where we get this kind of desolate feeling of this fishing town here, set somewhere very cold.
Yeah, it makes me think Alaskan with like light frameworks that we don't even see here where we live. Like we just wouldn't encounter this in our winters with any regular basis.
Yeah.
So it's very cool. I feel like I've traveled somewhere and seen something that I wouldn't see otherwise.
Ooh, whoa, this is very different.
I wanted to include this image just because it's so different. I really like to showcase the range of an artist if I can, just to see, you know, what else do they do? How else do they think about these things? How might they approach this challenge?
Yeah, I mean, this is awesome. I love that. So we are standing on top of one very tall building, looking down. I feel like I'm at the Shibuya Sky Tree or something similar. All these colors are just so unique as well. Wow. And then it being like only 2 or 3 colors here as well.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Very, very small value range.
But so much, we can see so much detail. Like, we're not missing anything.
Or not value range, but very few number of values,
Yes,
I would say.
that's the word. And then one final image from this artist that I really wanted to include is this really complex image here where we're emerging from this beautiful forest.
Yeah.
We can see this town in the background. We have a little bit less of the big color eruptions that we normally see from this artist.
I don't know. I still see it.
Yeah, oh, it's still there. It's still there. I should say a little bit less, a little bit less.
I think maybe that's because of the depth of this image, where here in the background, as we look here, it all starts to compress because of the perspective of the thing, the atmosphere. But wow, that was such an amazing artist. I loved the colors, and I'm definitely going to be looking into this artist more.
And if you would like to look into some artists more, go ahead and click that subscribe button.
And this is the part where we say Goomba.